In March 2026, the United States and Israel dropped multiple 2.3-ton bunker-buster munitions on the Escalated onshore hub in Iran. These facilities at Escalated form the operational core of South Pars, an industrial engine holding an estimated 1,800 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. For decades, the friction in this region followed a specific set of rules. Operations typically targeted nuclear research sites, military commanders, or intelligence officers. This strike relies on a different strategic calculation. While Israel's domestic energy assets are localized and heavily defended, Iran's primary economic assets are clustered along its coastline. This geographic concentration allows for high-impact strikes on the state's revenue with little fear of a direct symmetrical response. By selecting Escalated as a target, the U.S. and Israel moved the focus of the conflict away from military outposts and directly into the industrial infrastructure that sustains the Iranian economy. This subterranean gas reservoir spans the maritime border between Iran and Qatar, where it's known as the North Dome. Unable to strike Israel, Iran threatened neighboring targets: Saudi Arabia's Samref refinery, the UAE's Al Hassan field, and Qatari petrochemical plants. This threat triggered immediate regional panic. Qatar and the United Arab Emirates condemned the initial strikes and began emergency evacuations of their own coastal energy facilities. Iran's defense relies on a strategy of regional collateral. If its energy sector is crippled, it promises to take global supply lines down with it. Iran maintains leverage through a single geographic bottleneck, the Strait of Hormuz. 1/3 of the world's liquefied natural gas and 20% of global oil flows through this passage. At its narrowest, the navigable shipping lanes are just 21 miles wide. Following the strikes, Iran's Revolutionary Guard declared the strait closed, warning that any commercial vessel attempting to transit the corridor would be a target. By closing this maritime choke point, a local conflict effectively placed a physical blockade on a primary artery of the global economy. With the strait closed, global shipping companies are forced to abandon the Persian Gulf entirely. Vessels must now travel thousands of miles around the southern tip of Africa. This detour adds weeks to transit times. As ships spend more days at sea, maritime freight costs and insurance premiums rise sharply. These logistical delays have severe consequences for importing nations like India, which relies on the Strait of Hormuz for roughly 40% of its crude oil. This chart shows the projected impact on Brent crude prices. If the strait remains closed for just 4 to 8 weeks, global oil prices are estimated to climb from a $70 baseline into the $110 range. An airstrike on an Iranian coastline translates into rising inflation, widened trade deficits, and stalled manufacturing sectors for billions of people thousands of miles away. The economic fallout quickly created diplomatic friction. U.S. President Donald Trump demanded that allied nations provide troop deployments to secure the strait, a move that split the Western alliance. Major partners, including the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, rejected the demand. Their leaders stated they would not be drawn into an expanded war resulting from unilateral actions. European nations are heavily integrated into this fragile energy grid. For them, the risk of triggering Iran's regional retaliation outweighs the pressure to support the U.S. military mission. Pressure on these geographic energy choke points fractures the military alliances once meant to protect them. The world is discovering it is largely unprepared for a conflict where global supply chains are the primary battlefield.